Salt Bay finally lost everything. Dude, I honestly thought he left the guy in 2022 to 2023. Good comment. Great comment, this one. The fact that this dude even came popular in first place is beyond my understanding. You know, if you grow big on TikTok, you're the man. That's it. I'll still never forgive society for making him famous in the first place. He buys his meat from the same restaurant supplier as the other restaurants nearby and is charging $500 for a steak that literally the same as the 30 entry next door. His fade was made for a Soft Park episode. To be fair, rich people getting scammed doesn't bother me. You know, if that's it, you know, you have your own free will. You don't need to go here. But that's the thing with people. I think this, you know, when it's new things, people want to jump on the new things train. People want to feel included, whatever. If people are rich, they want to show it. They want to buy the Lambos. They want to go to the expensive restaurant. They want to have expensive clothes. So on and so on. Let them do it. You know, if they want to do it, sure. I see no problem. Let's go. Salt Bay.
Salt Bay went from being one of the biggest internet memes and having every A-list celebrity come to his restaurants, to setting his own customers on fire, invading the pitch during the World Cup final, being sued by his own employees for stealing tips, having to shut down all his restaurants because they're completely empty, and most recently...
That's the problem with raising prices too much, and you know, he was hyped. He was hyped for a while, but as all things does, it dies down after a little while. He should have just, you know, like this, and then, you know, re-centered himself as something else, or just taking the thing a little bit more, you know, he thought about it a little bit more, because this was just, I think everybody could have draw the conclusion that this was maybe supposed to happen, or it could at least happen. It was a high possibility that it could happen.
Having to shut down all his restaurants because they're completely empty, and most recently being literally kicked out of a Champions League final.
They don't want him.
Embarrassing. So how did it
was like, he's not holding the World Cup anymore. Fuck him. Get out of here, you know.
From sprinkling salt on gold steaks to shutting down every single one of his restaurants. We've got a lot to cover today.
So what is it? Yeah, I want to know what it's doing today.
So Salt Bay got rejected from the Champions League final. He wasn't invited, he wasn't welcome, but he pulled up anyway, suited up like he was about to.
Okay, so it was this fine. I thought it was the new one, but you know, I'm not keeping track on football. But it was there anyway. Chad, what a Chad.
A runway and not get booted by security. Now, normally Salt Bay weasels his way into big events, does a little salt sprinkle in front of celebrities and bounces, but this time people were done. Security saw him coming and said nope, not today.
No, get away from here. Munch. He's just pushing him. Okay, they're in England. I can hear that.
Fans online celebrated the security team like they scored the winning goal. The embarrassment was next. Fans on.
Oh, who's asking for his autograph? I say the same thing. Oh, Salt Bay is still convincing to be relevant. Yeah, because this was not too long ago.
Online celebrated the security team.
Fun.
They scored the winning goal. The embarrassment was next level. Salt Bay tried to play it off by sticking around, signing random autographs like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here, all while being slowly backed into irrelevance like a bad street magician. And then here comes the denial. He hopped on social media claiming, I wasn't kicked out, I was just passing by. Bro, you were...
I am like Salt Bay. Irrelevant.
In a full tux, wearing sunglasses at night. What are you passing by? A fashion show on a rooftop?
The king.
Nobody believes you are walking your meat-scented self down the street and act.
I always wonder when they do that, you know, when they sharpen the knife. Isn't there like small metal parts stuck on the blade afterwards? I've always wondered that, but I guess not, because they do that and then straight to the cutting up, because I figured maybe you can get it in your stomach or something, small metal parts, but yeah, just a thought.
accidentally wandered into the UEFA after party. Let's be real. Now, if this was an isolated L, that's one thing, but Salt Bae's entire brand has been spiraling for years, and it's finally catching up. Remember when he awkwardly...
Yeah, he should have just walked away on the top. That would have been... That's the problem. People don't know when to walk away. Me included. You know, I think most of us is just gonna get drawn. I think if this was another person, I think most people would have get drawn in anyway. You know, and just like Hawk Tuah girl, you know, they just go and then they go a little bit too far because I guess that's human nature.
Forced his way onto the World Cup pitch in 2022. Argentina had just won. The team was crying, hugging, celebrating history. And suddenly Salt Bae appears like an uninvited uncle at a wedding. He grabs Messi, physically yanks his arm and tries to force a selfie. Then in a moment of pure meme level cringe, he grabs the actual World Cup trophy, holds it up like he won the thing and poses for pictures like he's a 12th man. FIFA was so mad they launched an investigation and banned him from future events.
He can never watch football again.
And that was the moment.
He looks like almost like Johnny Depp. It's a little bit, you know, the resemblance is canny.
Internet turned. Salt Bae wasn't cool anymore. He was corny, he was desperate, he went from viral sensation to walking red flag. And the worst part is, you know his excuse? Oh sorry, I didn't know. Yeah, you didn't know you're not allowed to run onto the pitch of the biggest sporting event that is watched by millions
exactly
of people
what it was
that
doing.
Only happens once every 4 years? Sure buddy.
Why did you go onto the World Cup pitch
what do you
after
think,
the final,
man?
touch the World Cup and kiss the World Cup? What were you thinking?
He was, you know, he was one of the founders. Wait, we can do like this. He was one of the founders of Argentina country. He taught Messi how to play. He taught Ronaldo. He taught Ronaldinho. He taught I don't know footballers. He taught Zlatan. He taught I don't know footballers, as I said. Give him a break, man. Give Salt Bae a break. He is the biggest legend this world has ever seen, you know. Raga.
You know, I love Argentina.
I love Argentina. Where is this guy from? Salt Bae. He's just 41. Okay, I thought it was... How old did you think this guy was? I thought he was at least 50, you know. That was my minimum. But 41... Oh, he's from Turkey. I thought he was older, but I love Argentina. It was like he was from Argentina, but apparently he's not. But now we know that.
This is the accident. Before I don't know the rules. Now I know the rules. Next World Cup, I never touch the World Cup. I go to, of course, stadium, see the match, but I never touch again.
While Salt Bae's ego skyrocketed,
okay, so
his restaurants not so much.
Is he gonna get let into the next World Cup? That's the question, or if he's banned for life. We will find out. I don't know when the World Cup is. Is it in 5 years? Is it like Olympics? I don't know.
But I don't know
football.
Again.
While Salt Bae's ego skyrocketed, his restaurants not so much. Let's talk numbers. His flagship London steakhouse saw profits drop by nearly 50%. Reviews are brutal, overpriced, all flash no flavour. One guy paid £600 for a gold steak and left hungrier than he came.
100
in. And now they're offering £39 lunch specials just to fill their empty tables. In Boston, his restaurant was shut down for violating safety regulations. New York closed. Miami in scandal. Even in Dubai, where his brand was royalty, his reputation has soured. One food reviewer pulled up and said, "Service great, but we were literally the only people in the restaurant." From sold out reservations to ghost town
Hype had died down.
Branding looks
that was
like
a tongue twister. Hype had... But hype have died down. Hype has died down. That was hard, actually. That's the question. That's the answer. I mean, the answer. The hype has died down.
Innovations to great, but we were literally the only people in the restaurant. From sold out reservations to ghost town with Wi-Fi. This is what ego-fueled branding looks like when the hype dies. Salt Bae's biggest crime isn't being cringy, it's being greedy. The man once posted a photo of a customer's bill totaling $140,000, like it was some kind of flex. The receipt had gold-covered tomahawks, overpriced wine,
but
and a tip that could fund...
Wait. You know, if you have the money, why not? You know, if you want to spend 100 grand on the restaurant, that's okay. And I don't think maybe he's wrong for putting it out there. It's a little bit, you know, it's dumb if you ask me, but it's like, if people are willing to pay, I guess they're willing to pay. I wouldn't, but...
the receipt had gold-covered tomahawks, overpriced wine, and a tip that could fund a student's entire college tuition. And the worst part, the food isn't even good. Gold leaf is just a shiny paper. It doesn't taste like anything. You can buy it on Amazon for $10.
It tastes exquisite.
Yeah, Salt Bae...
Or maybe, wrong word. It tastes... expensive.
He charges thousands just to wrap his mediocrity in bling and call it luxury. People started realizing, wait, this man is literally just scamming rich people who want Instagram clout. Eventually, even rich people...
Isn't that messy?
Literally
What
just
the fuck?
scamming rich people who want Instagram clout. But eventually...
That has to be messy, right? Let's see. Enhance! That has to be messy. So he know Messi on a personal level. Now we know.
Eventually, even rich people get tired of being clowned.
And rich people get tired of not having, you know, they also want to hold on their money. If they can buy a meal for, let's say, $100 instead of $6,000 or whatever, I guess they're gonna take the $100 bill instead of the $6,000 bill, even if they are worth 200 million.
Behind the scenes, things are even darker. Several former employees accused Salt Bae of skimming 3% of their tips, firing them when they confronted him, and running his restaurants like a dictatorship.
Dictator! We have the dictator here, ladies and gentlemen. Our restaurant, he says, and then it takes 3% of their tip.
Compared him to Tony Montana. Yes, that Tony Montana. He allegedly controlled staff passports, humiliated workers, and ignored labor laws.
And who wants to eat this? Who wants to eat the salt? He's supposed to be fresh, you know, with the gloves, but then he takes it on his forearm, and you know, who wants to eat his dry, you know, when he's... He's gonna get flakes of his skin on it. Who wants to eat that? That's like... you know,
controlled staff passports, humiliated workers, and
I wouldn't eat it. I would rather eat a dead raccoon.
Like there was...
That's more sanitary than this.
Seasoning instructions. In one case, 4 employees were fired after confronting him about stolen tips and sued him for wrongful termination. They described him as a dictator boss with a god complex. He wasn't running restaurants, he was running a steak cult. When you thought it couldn't get worse...
You know, you just look at him. What do you think? He's a normal person. But of course he's acting up for the camera, like we all do. I tried to be myself, but of course I'm trying to be funny, and I'm trying to talk a lot or whatever. So of course, but what do you expect?
At his Istanbul location, during one of those dramatic tableside fire shows, the stunt went horribly wrong. Flames erupted, 4 customers were literally...
Why? Why are they doing this?
The stunt went horribly wrong. Flames erupted, 4 customers were literally set on fire, 1 Russian model suffered 3rd-degree burns on over 35% of her body.
Holy shit. I would have sued the shit out of them. You know, I would have sued them for at least $10 million or something, so I can be set for life. I would have gone through every part of the suing and like, give me my money, you know, I'm burnt, I'm 3rd-degree burnt. Do you know how fucking burnt that is? That's proper medium rare, you know.
And how did Salt Bay's team handle it? Destroy the security footage, no apology, no compensation, just sweep it under the rug and hope people forget.
One more time! Did they do it 2 times?
35%
Let
of his body. And how did Salt Bay
wait. First time, do they do it 2 times? Are they, you know, this is peak filming. This is the cameraman did its job for one time, because elsewhere they can be all over the place, you know, they can just and then when it's stuff happen they stop filming. But this is like this is peak.
Erupted, 4 customers were literally set on fire, 1 Russian model suffered 3rd-degree burns on over 35% of her body. And how did Salt Bay's team handle it?
One more
Destroyed
time.
Security footage, no.
This is diabolic. This is diabolic. How? Why? How and why and how and why?
Apology, no compensation.
Look, one more time.
Just sweep it under the rug. Yeah, bro, you turned your steakhouse.
And they just stand there, you know, the people just stand there. I would have been fuck out of there. If I were the cameraman, I would have backed off, but I would still film, of course, but
into the Final Destination crossover, and then acted like it was business as usual. But wait, there's more. Salt Bay
somehow there is more.
Served gold-covered steaks to Venezuelan dictator Nicolas Maduro during a food crisis. While millions of citizens were starving and eating once a day, Maduro was being hand-fed $1,000 steaks by Salt Bay like a Bond villain or on vacation. People were furious. Protests erupted. His Miami restaurant got surrounded.
When was this? 2018?
People were furious.
2018. Look. Why, you know, if it's 2018, that's a while ago. That's 7 years ago. It's 7 years ago. And people are like, oh, he's cancelled now. You know, he's been cancelled since, I don't know, even when he got big, so to speak.
Erupted. His Miami restaurant got surrounded by demonstrators. Salt Bay, well, he was silent. And let's not forget his Fidel Castro tribute post just before opening a restaurant in Miami, which has one of the largest Cuban exiled communities in the world. Like, bro, Google is free. How are you this tone deaf? Also,
he doesn't care. He thinks he was, you know, probably think he was immortal. He didn't, you know, that's just a small setback. And some people do that when they get when they get critique. They just go silent and they don't speak about it, and then they continue with what they're doing. Some people just take hiatus for a while and then they come back, but some people just ignores it and then doing the stuff they're doing. I don't know if that solves anything. I just think people like that is like a lot less credible.
Salt Bay once called the police on a customer who didn't want to pay $1,000 for a gold steak they didn't even order. A guy visited
He didn't even order.
Didn't want to pay $1,000 for a gold steak they didn't even order.
And this was in 2020. Okay, so if you don't buy a steak, please pay me $1,000. I can take the $1,000. I haven't eaten a steak or made a steak, so, you know, you set the stakes, man.
A guy visited Salt's Miami spot with friends, got served the gold version while asking for it, tried to dispute it, and they called the cops. He ended up paying the bill and exposing the whole mess online. How are you charging people for the wrong order and then threatening them with jail? This isn't fine dining, this is a culinary scam artistry. Now, Salt Bay's brand is in free fall.
Ilya Taptoro.
His follower growth has slowed to the lowest rate since 2017, his engagement is down over 70%, he's getting roasted in every comment section, his restaurants are bleeding money, his reputation's a punchline, and now he's the meme that doesn't even know it's not a meme anymore. He still posts like he's the king of luxury, still dances with
53 million people follow this man. I can tell you, I'm not one of them. I promise. I can promise you.
Gold Knives still tries to look profound standing on cliffs, but the illusion is gone. No one's clapping, no one's impressed. We all moved on. Salt Bae didn't fall off overnight. He spiraled slowly, drip by drip, steak by steak.
Drip by drip.
From cringy cameos to lawsuits, from overpriced beef to burnt out brands. He was never just a chef. He was a performance, a character, a meme with a restaurant budget. But when the performance stopped being funny and the prices stopped making sense and the scandals piled up, you realize there's nothing under the gold. The salt has lost its flavor. And if Salt Bae doesn't change, really change, he won't be remembered as a culinary innovator. He'll be remembered as the guy who sprinkled
I don't know what he does today though. We don't have the answer for that.
his way into history and couldn't stop until he crumbled. So yeah, that's the rise and fall of Salt Bae, a man who could have been a beloved chef and restaurant mogul, but chose to become a living meme with
this could have worked out if he just played his card right, but I think it got to his head.
God complex. He could have turned his meme virality into just opening normal restaurants that sell normal food. But no, he decided he's going to put fake gold and sell it for tens of thousands of dollars.
But I guess he made some money out of it. Maybe he can live, happily for the rest of his life. He doesn't have to do anything more. So, yeah, maybe that's maybe he goes winning out of this. We don't know.
Literally stealing money from people, which turned into people not going to his restaurants, losing him money, and overall his career falling apart. And not only that, but he thinks he's him, running onto the pitch of the World Cup final, being rude to his employees, and setting his guests on fire. It's the classic case of someone letting fame rot their brain. He got rich and famous and started acting like he was above everyone else.
Yeah.
So if you get famous or rich, don't let it ruin you and turn yourself into a parody of who you once was.
I will let that ruin me. Be sure of that. If I get famous, I will be the biggest douche. I am already a big douche, but I'm gonna be even bigger douche. What do we think about this? Salt Bae cancelled. I don't know if he is cancelled, but I guess he's walking away with a lot of money still. So if he doesn't do anything more stupid, he's gonna live, a good life from the stuff he's earned. So, and it's gonna be forgotten about. No harm done, because he's just fooled rich people. So I guess it's no harm done. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, catch you in the next video.